Hi folks, I'm starting a new series called Ask Dan. Please ask the questions, post them below. They could be about life, they could be about business, they could be about whatever you want to talk about. And we'll be having videos in response, so I look forward to hearing from you and reading your posts and your questions. Bye-bye.
This is the first episode of Ask Dan, where we answer your questions. We will be asking you to ask me questions on social media. So to start with, Javaska, who's the producer of the show and a good friend, is going to pass on to me all of your questions. Javaska, what's the first question?
Okay, so I'm Blonde Doctor from Instagram says, I have questions. What do you think about the law of attraction?
The law of attraction is a very interesting idea. It's if you think great thoughts, those thoughts will come to you. I agree to some degree. I agree to some degree. But the other thing is, the law of attraction should not just be you spending the time to concentrate and think about things and hope they come to you or work towards the thought process of them coming to you. You need action. So thought without action is going to not bring you the attraction that you're looking for. So think good thoughts. Think about the thoughts that you want to be attracted to and have attracted to you, but act upon it, and then you'll find that the attraction works. That's my opinion. But okay, next.
So Samantha from Facebook asks, do you enjoy time with yourself? If so, how do you do it?
Well, I do enjoy time with myself, and it's interesting because I like myself. First, you gotta like yourself, okay? First, you gotta be confident enough to know that you can enjoy being alone and being in your own space, and you got to understand what it is that you like that maybe you can do with other people or you're fine doing by yourself. So for me, I enjoy writing, I enjoy reading, I enjoy thinking. I know that may seem a bit obtuse, but I do. I enjoy thinking and figuring things out. I enjoy baseball, so I can watch a Phillies game every night if I could by myself. And I enjoy cooking for myself, but I enjoy doing these things with other people. If they're there, great. If not, I'm pretty comfortable being alone. The first thing is, and you must understand this, is you have to like yourself, because you are the only person you'll be with for your entire life.
Okay.
Next question.
Herm from Facebook asks, okay, Dan, question. Yesterday on my Facebook page, a friend mentioned his heart specialist told him to stay away from all soy products. My response was that it probably was because of high risk of GMOs. Wondering now if there's some other issue that I'm not aware of. Any input?
Well, I'm not a doctor or a nutritionist, okay? So let's set that one straight. But I will say that from what I understand, unless you're buying non-GMO organic soy products, soybeans are probably the most contaminated vegetable or product of them all. So, although corn's right up there too, but that's the only thing I could think. I don't know any other reason why the doctor would say that. But again, I'm not a nutritionist or a doctor. One of the rules of video production is make sure that all your video cameras and their batteries and so forth are fully charged before you start production. But anyway, Javaska, let's have that question again.
Okay. So Suzanne from Instagram said, how many students earned A's in your class this semester?
Easy question to answer. Depends on the class. depends on the subject, depends on the students. So this semester, normally my entrepreneurship students, they do pretty well. They get a lot of A's. Not everybody gets an A, but they do get quite a bit of A's because they're coming up with entrepreneurial ideas and ventures. And because I set up the ground rules first and what I'm looking for from them, they use their entrepreneurial mindsets, which is the name of one of the courses, to come up with different ideas for business. So who am I to say that something's not going to work? It's kind of like, I'm sure people told Mark Zuckerberg that that's not going to work. People told me that Four Eyes wouldn't work. Okay? So, as you all know, it became a national, actually international company. And look what Facebook is now. So, most of those students do very well. Once in a while, someone is a slacker and doesn't do the work, or when we work in teams, they don't perform in a manner that the rest of the team performs. So that's where their downfall comes, and they get lower grades. And then, in those cases, every time there is a team, I tell the team members that they can vote someone off the island who's not pulling their weight. And if you get voted off the island, and that goes for not just my entrepreneurship classes, for other classes as well, you basically either flunk or get a very low grade. But most of the students did very well this semester. I would say that the vast majority of them got A's. I hope that answers your question, Suzanne. Next, Shavasco, what's next?
Okay, so Jessica from Instagram says, "Hi, Dan. I have a question for you. How do you know when is the right time to leave the comfort of a corporate job to pursue your dream of starting your own gig?"
When the discomfort of being in the business that you're in is greater than the comfort of being in it. Okay, so it's like before I started Four Eyes, I was in a very comfortable job as an optician, but it got less and less and less comfortable as I realized that I could do this better and I could do it in a more efficient way, and it started to gnaw at me, as gnawing as something can be with me, because I tend to be pretty mellow about things. But I just realized that I could do better, and that the insights that I got, no pun intended, for an optical business, but the insights I had were beginning to be so intense of how to do it better that I figured now's my time. And a lot of people say when you're younger it's easier. Yeah, when you're younger it's easier. Of course, when you're older, you have more knowledge and wisdom. Maybe some people are very young, but they're old souls. So you never know when it's going to hit you. However, I will say that when the discomfort of being there is greater than the comfort of being there, I think it's time to leave. Jessica, I hope that answered your question. Although you should mitigate your risk. So therefore, if you're going to start an entrepreneurial venture, don't leave what you're doing unless you have a nice cash reserve before you start your next venture, because then you'll be just out there in the cold. So I always advise people, if they need to be in a place where they have some income coming in, to start working from your home or part-time or whatever, and build it up from there. Okay. We have another one? I hope that answered your question, Jessica.
Ireland690 from Instagram asks, "How do you let go?"
That's a great question, because I've had a lot of things happen in my life. I don't want to go into all the tragedies and traumas that have happened to me, but I have this philosophy of when you can't let go, and that's in a relationship, in business or whatever, that person, It's like jealousy. You've heard me talk about that, and I will again. But when you are fixated on something or someone, you must understand that that person or thing is controlling you without them even knowing it. And I know I've spoken about this in other videos, but once you understand that, you say to yourself, do I need to expend the energy of worrying about somebody, being jealous of somebody, holding on to somebody that doesn't care anymore for me? So if they don't care, or if the business doesn't care, why should I not let go? I have too much other stuff to do, too many other things to do, and I don't need to be held back, and I certainly don't need to be controlled by someone that doesn't even know they're controlling me. We are back. Next question, Javaska.
So, Paris Bistro Jazz from Instagram asks, why are we here?
What is the purpose of life? I'll never forget asking that very question to someone many years ago. And her response was, what makes you think there's a purpose? Which was very enlightening, actually. And I thought about that for a while. And I think the reason we're here is love. That's it for me, is to love other people, to be kind, to be caring, to learn, to be wise, gain wisdom as you go through life, pass that knowledge on, pass that wisdom on, and be as good as you can be. There's a word in Yiddish called be a mensch, and that means be a good soul, be a kind person, do good things, do something nice for people every day, good deed. That's why I think we're here, is to spread joy, to spread love. That's my opinion. I mean, some people, they do the opposite, but that's why I think we're here. Okay. I hope I answered that, Paris Bistro.
So this next question is from Tisha Bratt from Facebook, and she asks, why do some people struggle with major disabling chronic health issues most of their lives?
A lot has to do with, and again, I'm not a doctor or a nutritionist, but some people it's genetic. They're just born that way, and that's it. Other people do it to themselves with bad diets, smoking, which leads to chronic ailments on some people anyway. I think some people are more self-sabotaging. You know, they have this great life. We, as a society, have this great planet, and as a species, and we're hell-bent on screwing it up, and a lot of people do that to themselves. But chronic disease is a different thing. I think a lot of that has to do with genetics and or exposure to bad things in your surroundings, in your environment, and then that leads to being chronically ill. So just be careful of where you're walking around and what you're doing and what you're eating. That's it. I hope I answered that.
Swing That Cat from Instagram asks, how does an artist look for private sponsors without feeling like they're selling out?
Okay, that's a great question. Remember, everybody's an artist in one way or another. Let's put that out there. Whether you're a plumber or an electrician or a carpenter or a painter of fine art or a painter of a house, you got to make a living. And if the person is the customer, the patron, is understands that and is wise enough to realize that, you're not just paying for that painting. You're not just paying for the plumbing. You're not just paying for that artwork, woodwork, whatever. You're paying for all the years of experience that person has gained in order to do that stuff in in a beautiful, proficient way. So therefore, one of the major problems, and I do teach selling, is that you have to understand your own worth. So feeling that you're selling out, who are you selling out to? Why do you feel that way? My general thought is that if you're a musician, you charge to play in a venue. If you're painting, you charge to paint in a venue, whether it's a home or whatever it is. So I think you got to change the way you think about yourself. That you are worth it. And if someone doesn't want to pay you, then that's their misunderstanding of your worth. Of course, you really have to be good at what you do. Don't get me wrong. You can't draw stick figures and ask for $20,000. Maybe you can, and maybe somebody will pay. But you understand what I'm saying. So therefore, be realistic and don't worry about selling out. Worry about your own self-worth and what people are looking for, and you should be fine. I hope I answered your question. Take care. That's it. That's our first episode of Ask Dan's Answers. Take care. We'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.